Well, I'm Sam Cohen, the founder of Paid Perceptions.
And I'm David Dasilma, director at Paid Perceptions. Oh, wait.
Okay, I messed it up. All right, now we're live. So my name is Sam Cohen, the founder of Paid Perceptions,
And I'm David Dasilma, director at Paid Perceptions.
and welcome to this week's episode of the Paid Perceptions podcast. So this week we have quite a few good topics, and might as well get started with our headline topic, and this is from Search Engine Land. It is that ChatGPT ads are expanding to 31 European countries next week. So uh, basically, if you want to run ads in this region, so for the 31 countries, you have to go through OpenAI's ad solutions team. So they have a team that's specifically, dedicated to getting this up and running currently. And self-service that's through the regular ad interface is coming later this summer. But as of now, it's you have to contact their business team effectively to actually use it. Um, in other news for ChatGPT ads, and this is just they released something yesterday, is that the platform is now reporting 1 day view through conversions. So beforehand, the platform only had click through conversions and they didn't have view throughs at all. But now you can see, 1 day view throughs, which is similar to what you can see on Facebook. Is you get those 1 day view throughs. So that could be helpful. And the only other thing they had this week was they launched an integration with the Work Magic platform. So if you use that, which it appears, I did a little research on it. It appears to just be like a tracking platform generally, like kind of like Triple Whale. So if you're using that, that's good for you. But otherwise, yeah, other than the couple of, I said couple, the 31 new countries in Europe, there isn't like a whole lot of news for the platform updates this week. So do you have any thoughts on
Yeah, I
the
wonder if,
updates or countries?
yes, I wonder if the reason why you have to have like a concierge or kind of like in New Jersey, you can't pump your own gas, that kind of thing. I think the reason they have it like that is because Europe is heavily regulated, and so maybe you have somebody holding your hand to like guide you through those waters before it, so they can test that out before it just goes out to just self serve, and then people might run into some issues because there's a lot. I mean, the regulations for advertising are, as we know, a lot heavier in Europe, and you can't get. I mean, privacy laws, etc., are way different. So it's probably a hedge against that.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. I mean, they might be willing to like actually go through and manually approve these for certain advertisers who are willing to spend a lot, but I guess the initial rollout they just kind of want to be somewhat slow and handled, as opposed to I mean, they did when they introduced the ads in the first place, like even in the US they did a phased rollout. So it's not like super surprising that they would do a like a rollout like this um in Europe.
Right. I just forgot this the third or second piece of news you had. What were the other two?
The other two were they have now 1 day view through conversions.
Oh, that. Okay, sorry. That's what I
Yep.
want. That's what I want to talk about.
Mhm.
So yeah, with the view through, I mean, essentially, they rolled that out, and they're going to continue to roll out more of these conversion windows because they need to prove their own worth. Their own worth. It's self-serving. It's not to help anybody. It helps us as advertisers, of course, but it's not there to help us. It's self-serving. If they can prove a view through conversion, then why wouldn't they? Because that just makes people want to advertise on their platform more. So that one's pretty obvious, and it's just going to keep going that way. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean it is helpful though to have
yeah,
view
it
through
is.
conversions.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, a lot of times people don't actually go through and click uh, the ad, and they just like search it up
Mhm.
separately.
Yep.
So it's good to have that, and for those to really work, you do need. I mean, OpenAI already has this, but they like just introduced it, right? Is the like enhanced conversions and the
Hmm.
customer matching. So it's important that you have that
Right.
enabled and you have that functional if you actually do want to see the one day view through conversions. And
Let me.
hopefully they just kind of stick to stuff that's solid, which is kind of in comparison to like Meta, for example, which does modeled conversions. So Meta's conversions, like especially on the view through, are modeled, which means they are an estimate, not like a. They don't, even if something isn't guaranteed, they don't put it. They like market as a conversion basically, and they're pretty good at it. But especially since like iOS 14, which is a long time ago now, but it's when we lost a lot of the data on Meta side, and we lost like the 28-day uh, conversion window and stuff like that.
Sam, question: do you think that in the future it will expand like 3 day view through? Uh, will you think it'll expand to the point where, and I don't know how valuable this would be to anybody, but it could be expand to the point where you have 90-day even click through conversion, or 60-day or 30-day, or like a wider window. So then, although all these transactions do seem like they'd be pretty rapid, like see somebody seeing an ad while they're searching for something on ChatGPT is probably more down funnel, and closer to the purchase point. But it could be going forward in the future that people do just look stuff up and get ads, click on them, etc., and then or just see them, etc., and then later on maybe convert. Um, but now, if that person, it would all depend what platform they converted on, I guess, because then all of a sudden Google would get first dibs on that first search, right? Even though there's an ad here on ChatGPT. So where's
Yeah,
the attribution?
I think that's. Now I don't know what I don't know what the behavior is for
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, do
Yeah.
people like if they see? I would assume, uh, like this happens on Meta, for example, all the time. They see an ad and they go search it in Google, and then you can get Google taking credit for it.
Yeah.
But on ChatGPT, I don't know if people. I would assume that a decent number of them do like actually just see the ad and then they go search it up on Google.
Yeah.
But it's possible that they don't have that as much behavior as much
Mm-hmm.
because they are looking at it from a just looking at ChatGPT as their search engine
Right.
in that case. But I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting. I mean,
It
like
will be interesting.
it will be. You can use like GA4. I mean, should be able to take care of, and your backend analytics should hopefully be able to figure out at least some of this. But yeah, it's always going to be a challenge, but it's definitely an interesting one. Like, uh, if you have search from, like, do you consider ChatGPT ad search
Yeah,
or
sort of. AI, AI.
they?
It's AI.
Yeah, like they kind of are.
Yeah.
But it it's interesting. As the platforms become more feature complete, though,
Hmm.
I would probably think people would just use ChatGPT itself and then not like look it up on Google. But now,
Right.
like currently, I could see people doing
How much do you want to
both.
bet as we speak, using Claude, right now as we speak, there's like 20,000 new attribution software people saying they've already built in that they have ChatGPT through all platforms attribution, but they're just waiting for a few months so that like to make sure that it's been out long enough, and they already they're all going to launch at the same time, and we're all going to start getting ads, even through our email, probably email ads, saying yeah, we have perfect attribution throughout the whole platform, like just the one attribution tool that fits all, which has never happened before. And unfortunately, I still think attribution is the thing that we will never solve, AI or not. Even with the use of AI or not, we just cannot solve attribution. It's impossible, I think.
Yeah, like vibe coded Google Analytics is definitely what we need.
It's happening right now, though, guaranteed.
Oh,
Because
I'm sure there are
because
people working.
as
It's
soon as
easier than ever.
because there's going to be a need for AI attribution. There's going to be a need for it, but there's going to be a need for it in comparison to, did that person see a LinkedIn ad that made them look something up on AI, that made them see an AI ad, that made them look it up on Google, that then they converted? What's that like? Who? How do we follow that? Right? And then, oh yeah, they got an ad on Instagram earlier that morning for the same thing. That started it all. You know.
But that is like a lot of people say, for example, like, hey, it's not, is my customer really on Instagram? Is my customer really on Facebook? And you get like a lot of B2B companies that are like, yeah, I don't know if this would be really valuable for me.
Right.
Uh, but you should at least be present on as many platforms as
Right.
possible.
But when they
Uh,
say, is my person not on there? I mean, to some extent or not, most people are who use cell phones are on some sort of social media, so they're not on there the way someone's on LinkedIn. Someone's on LinkedIn usually to do some kind of professional social type of thing, whereas the person that's on Instagram maybe just looking at cat videos, but they're on Instagram, so you should advertise to them. I don't see why not. I think B2B gets into the mentality of like ICP, ICP, ICP instead of from also the ICP, but a human perspective. That person still has their personal life that they're living. Get them at their personal life when they're like vulnerable. Like
yeah, I mean, at minimum, you should probably be doing like remarketing
yeah,
across like these different platforms. Like even it's helpful to see, and I've been on more social media now since we're trying to grow this organic presence. And generally, like I've never really used Instagram before. I've never really used Facebook before, like even myself. But like I'll be going through Instagram and get like a remarketing ad for whatever software I was looking at, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is great. Like this is, I mean, I watch ads, but it's like this is good. Like even though this like vidIQ, for example,
hmm
is largely what I was looking at for. It's like a software that helps you like come up with titles, descriptions, and everything for YouTube. But it's like I searched up the software on Google and I'm seeing ads on Instagram, I'm seeing ads on Threads. So, that's kind of more of that's a both a business and a consumer product. But it's good that I'm seeing ads in those different places for
yeah,
it.
hmm
Um, so that is really valuable, even if you don't think that your particular like a particular platform is going to be super relevant. There are cases like where it just isn't, but in a lot of cases, it's still worth it to have that increase in reach.
hmm yeah, agreed.
But on to the next topic. So this is from Search Engine Land as well. Google adds a new AI Max testing and planning tool. So what this does is it enables multi-campaign A/B testing with different budgets and ROI targets within a single experiment. It allows you to test with brand and location controls enabled, which is something that you couldn't do in an A/B test experiment for AI Max previously. It also adds more functionality to the Google Ads Performance Planner, so you can better predict the results from your AI Max experiments.
Hmm.
So, with these, updates, do you think are you more likely basically to test AI Max with these added controls and the testing updates?
I mean, I have tested AMX. I just didn't see it do anything positive or negative. But I would continue to test it. Like if I was, managing campaigns with that were on, search, I would test AI Max because I mean it really claims to just be an expansion of search that's more tailored for sizes and different things like that. So and even maybe some copy. Um, so I don't know, especially with the test. Yes, I think I'd be even more prone to. I was prone to test it anyway, but to see what it does. But I'd be even more prone to throw more budget like that way, because there are those controls, and then you can get a good readout and actually see what worked and what didn't. Side by side.
Yeah, I think more people are going to be at least more likely to test it out, especially with the brand and location controls, because it was kind of dumb that they didn't allow that on the A/B tests.
Mm.
It's like basically, how it was before is like you enable like all of the features or you don't, um, which is part of the strategy with the AI Max thing is to, in order to, the thing people really want to do from the AI Max is to get into the AI overviews.
Right.
That's like the real big thing. And
Mhm.
of course, they have tied it into the campaign level broad match. They have tied it into the automatic asset creation. They have tied it into
I see.
the landing page like expansion. So it's good that they at least allow you to like. It's just like it's just like stupid that they didn't allow you to use the brand controls, because like then you get, your brand and your non-brand gets mixed, and that's always like
Wait,
ridiculous.
that's I didn't realize that they didn't allow that. The last few tests that I've ran have been brand, like
For the
literally have
A/B test, yeah,
yeah, no A/B tests.
feature.
The last few A/B
Mhm.
tests have been brand versus God, I forget what it was brand, but a different, just I think a landing page maybe, but like brand versus brand. So I think I didn't even notice that you couldn't, if it was like a non-brand campaign, that you couldn't exclude brand. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
really didn't. Interesting.
Well, you could do it in the regular campaign, but if you did the actual A/B test that was built into Google, you couldn't.
Any experiments? Like
Yeah.
if I
It,
had
for the
non-brand, sorry, go ahead.
for the specific AI Max experiments, yes.
Oh, for AI Max experiments. Sorry.
AI Max, yeah.
Oh, just specific. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about experiments, like just in general.
Well, there was this like, so this the one-click AI Max experiments, and here I'll
Mhm.
show you like part of the article. But but you see, like I can zoom this in, like these, right? When you choose
No.
an experiment type, this is
Okay.
AI
Okay.
Max for search campaigns.
Got it.
This
I see.
is what didn't allow you to have that option.
I see. Okay. I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting moving forward. Hopefully the
I just
features
want to see.
are easier to use. And
Yeah, I
what
just
are
want
you
to see
saying?
results from. I just want to see results from AI Max and see like what, like if anybody's really seeing a reasonable like difference to the positive or to the negative or neutral over time.
Yeah, I have a feeling like if you're if you're in one of the categories that has a ton of ads, like the pets category, I think we discussed it
Hmm.
earlier on the podcast, is I think so many people are using it currently that it must work.
Right.
But then again, that is also e-commerce, and the thing with e-commerce is that you have a solid conversion, as in it can't really be faked by a bot.
Yeah. One is one.
So
Yeah.
if you have a solid conversion, it's a lot easier and a lot more justifiable to use, um, Performance Max or display or all of these other things that have the potential to introduce fraud if you are optimizing for a conversion that is not easily faked.
Yeah. A real thing. Transaction has to go through, etc. Yeah.
Yep. Uh, so another topic, and this is from Search Engine Land as well, is Google updates demand gen view through conversion optimization.
Hmm.
So with demand gen campaigns, you can run, it's called a VTC optimization, view through conversion, and you can run specific campaigns for view through conversions. And previously, the way this worked is that you were able to like use this specific optimization for like everything that was on the Discovery network. Well, the Discovery, I'm calling it Discovery, but like uh, Discovery, YouTube, and stuff like that. You could use it for anything, including images, but you can't do that anymore. So moving forward, view through conversion optimization will be for only video assets.
Hmm.
So you can only use it for video or it's at least only going to be reported on for video assets. And another thing is it will be turned on by default
Oh, interesting.
for this optimization. And you have to manually disable it if you don't want to use it. And one of the other things it does is this is kind of another feature that has been sort of ported over from display. So this will also kind of work with the display network for video specifically. So one of the things that, at least like for the discussion topic, is like how long do you think that video campaigns have before they're replaced by demand gen?
I mean, I said 6 months on the last thing, probably longer, probably next summer, I'd say. Because yeah, probably next summer. um, it looks like whenever Google starts heavily favoring something, and these features are actually good for demand gen. It's funny, I'm noticing a view through theme today. But
Yeah, there are quite a few.
yeah, um, as they start rolling out features for one and then, kind of limiting the other, it's only a matter of time. So I'd give it a year, something like that. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, they already kind of removed the video campaigns for conversions,
Right.
which they kind of rolled into demand gen. But as you get closer to like this, I could see them keeping video, but like only in a very select kind of way. Um, like they have audio ads, for example, which is a YouTube only campaign. Like you could
Oh,
see
yeah.
them moving that in. I mean, well, what it really is a YouTube music campaign
YouTube Music. Okay.
is what that is. But it's considered it's under the YouTube umbrella currently.
I've never seen it. Like when I've built campaigns, like it's never been in the pop up box.
Yeah, it's what do you have to select to get it? I think it's only enabled under like the reach objective.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a specific category for like YouTube and then YouTube audio ads. We used them. I've used them once. We were promoting a podcast for a public figure, and we wanted to. It was an audio podcast, so we used them on YouTube. It actually did pretty well. It was in beta then. It's a new feature,
Interesting.
but it worked pretty well. Well, it wasn't really. We couldn't really tell the performance as much
Right.
as we could like see impressions and
Delivery.
like
Yeah.
we got delivery, but
Mhm.
you know, but audio ads are not the type of thing where you're going to get like a super solid. I could tell 100% that this audio ad contributed to our conversions. It's more of kind of an awareness type thing
Right.
that feeds everything else.
But if it was like if I'm some local company and it's like Nelson's Lawn or something, and then I'm like, say Nelson to get this deal, and the only time I've said it is on the radio ad, you could then, I mean, it's different for podcast signups, but for an actual product, every time somebody bought a product or called or went online and then, said, Nelson as the word, you could then attribute that to the radio ad, right? Or to the, sorry, audio ad, the YouTube Music audio ad, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Loosely,
you could.
yeah.
It would be. I don't know how.
Not like
I don't
super
know how well
scientific.
that would work for in person.
Yeah, yeah,
It definitely works if you have like if you say like you have a discount code for an e-commerce type of thing. That's
yeah.
maybe a little bit easier to
Right.
to go
I think that's what
to
I
go
meant. But
for.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but like in that case, yeah, I think it would work. But I don't know. Maybe if it is, it could work in person as well. But it's kind of hard to like. I don't know. I don't like watch many uh or listen to like many audio ads, so I wouldn't know. Or at least I haven't in a long time because I haven't listened to
Right.
the radio in a long time.
Fair.
But so the next topic is this from Search Engine Land as well. Google Ads will use generative AI to resize Performance Max video ads.
Isn't that what AI Max does? I'm confused.
Uh, well, this is a so this is like for PMax. It says it's for PMax specifically, but like
Right. Okay.
it's kind of been doing. The thing is, like, it's kind of been doing this.
Right.
Uh, so previously, the way that this worked is you had to select asset optimization on your Performance Max campaign for this to apply.
Mm-hmm.
And what that did is it did cut up your video in for the different aspect ratios if it thought that it could work. Um, the difference here is that this is apparently like a better version of it, and you can't turn it off in the interface.
Fair
That
enough.
that's the kind of deal with it. That's what makes it different. Is it supposedly well, they're they're I guess the thing is, right, they're using generative AI, which is a new thing
Mm-hmm.
because the previous versions didn't really use generative AI. It was just a cut. So this is supposedly, I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but uh you'd have to see, like, if you didn't know, you can actually preview what your campaigns are doing. Like if you go into the asset library, it will show you there the versions of the assets that it has created to use in the campaign. So you'll have to see like what exactly it does there. But this is just I think this is something where they think that it is good enough and that they've just decided to roll it out entirely. And uh, if you want to disable it, you have to fill out a form to have
Wow.
it disabled.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I mean, the main thing with this is that realistically, you should probably, by this point in time, you should probably have vertical videos.
Mm-hmm.
You probably should, because vertical content is everywhere. So if you don't have it, it's, showing horizontal videos on like a vertical, like YouTube short and stuff like that just doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this the original AI is like able to update it somewhat and to like make it look somewhat decent, but like some of the time it just doesn't. It doesn't look great. I would imagine that there's still an issue, but yeah, Google's just going to do this. Uh, Really, what you should probably be doing is investing in your own vertical videos
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want Google to use this, because now, because they're having the AI do it without your, I want to say, like, without your consent, but
Like
like
your
you're using the ad
knowledge.
platform
Yeah.
so you technically consent to everything.
Just your knowledge.
Um, yeah, they're just like enabling it by default. You can't disable it without a thing that the grand majority of people won't bother to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're just like, yeah, you should have vertical videos. And keep in mind that this is something that really benefits. It does benefit Google like heavily as well,
Mm-hmm.
because vertical, like, YouTube Shorts inventory is pretty massive, but the amount of vertical videos compared to the amount of horizontal videos is not even close.
Right.
So for ads. So if you were choosing basically to not serve on YouTube Shorts, then Google's like losing out on that potential. But now it's just going to be enabled by default, so you're going to be on there whether you like it or not.
Yeah. In whatever format they choose.
Yeah.
They see most fit. Yeah.
So anyway, it's pretty easy to make vertical videos now. I would just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like the discussion topic was, how important are formats like vertical video now compared to the past couple of years?
I mean, super important, and there should be in addition to, not in replacement of. So it's in addition to. So just get the stuff in multiple formats, and then you're good. It's no different than getting a list of, let's say, static formats from LinkedIn or something, or Google or whatnot, of what they accept, Just get everything, fill in those formats, and if it happens to be vertical videos, etc., fill in all those formats. And the thing I've learned on Google is when it offers you space to use things, whether it's a responsive search ad or whatever it may be, use everything, use all the real estate they offer you, whether it's a local service ad that's also getting, I guess that's getting piled into search now, but in the current local services ad, they allow you to put pictures of you with your, coworkers and, in the business doing this, logos, headshots, whatever. And the more you fill it out, your chances of being shown and also being shown in a good position, uh, just overall in Google, increase dramatically. So if Google says, "Hey, insert your logo or a picture," we'll insert a logo or a picture. Insert vertical. Going back to what we started with, started here, vertical video. Yes, super important. Add it to the repertoire.
It's definitely important nowadays. And basically every platform, like there was a time too when not every platform accepted vertical video,
Mm-hmm.
or it like cropped it stupidly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were like LinkedIn, there were like these vertical. I mean, there still are. There are like these vertical images where, you know, they're not exactly like 9 by 16, but they would show on mobile. But then, for ads, but then they would also show in your regular desktop feed improperly cropped.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? Um, this like didn't make any sense. It was just the most ridiculous thing in the world because they worked well on mobile,
Right.
and then they would show in the preview improperly. It's come on, man.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And but so there
But
was that like area where vertical didn't do as well. But now every platform has a this is our vertical thing,
mm-hmm.
or at least almost every platform does. So there's a place for it.
Right.
So next topic from Search Engine Land as well is Google Ads is removing language targeting from search campaigns. So previously, what you were able to do is select whichever language that the person understood. So whichever language the user understood,
Mm-hmm.
right? You were able to select that manually on on the campaign level, and
Mm-hmm.
it was supposed to only show people who understood that particular language. It's not doing that anymore. It's going away completely, so it's going to automatically serve your ads to people who understand them.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because I mean, if we take everything at face value and what is being said, nothing has changed. Essentially, if we take it at face value, but that's just another control that you can't see or that you can't, touch any, excuse me, touch anymore. And who's to say, like, let's say it's an English speaking country, some small English speaking country, a foreign country, everybody speaks English, but then your ads are shown to a bunch of people that don't or don't understand English. But let's say you follow up or whatever, talk to a Google expert, you spend enough money with them, and they find out, oh, it went to this country, that's an English speaking place, but like your ads weren't served to people who can understand them potentially. I think that leaves room for that because who's going to follow up and get in the weeds that much with Google? I think it's just another black box area. But essentially, it should be different. Essentially, if everybody's telling the truth, nothing has changed except we don't have the control over it anymore. That's all.
I
Because
think I
auto language detect, or whatever is what they're using, I'm sure, which they've always used, right?
I think Google was doing this already,
Yeah.
no matter which language you set.
Mm.
Because if you've ever run ads in the US for uh, we've ran it for like online courses. It was
Mm.
one of the big ones. About 10%, depending on the state, was in Spanish.
Mm.
The searches were in Spanish. We only said English as the language. So people who searched in and like it didn't auto translate the search. So you had to I had to put the searches into Google Translate and see what they were actually searching. So that is basically kind of what this is. already. So Google was already, you set whatever language that you were going to set, and Google served it to whoever it thought spoke the language. It wasn't based on what language they actually made the search in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing, but as you said, it just removes the ability for you to check it and to try and set whichever language you actually want to serve in. But yeah, it's probably not that big of a deal.
It's just interesting. A lot of non-big deals become a big deal because they're chipping away at little things here and there that seem like they don't matter. But when we do the sum of all these things a year from now, and we're going to see a lot of it matters a lot as far as visibility into performance and things that we could hold Google accountable for. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can only if you're running ads in English to, let's say the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
which is a country where almost everyone speaks English.
Right.
Uh, I could see this being like this change resulting in your ads getting shown to more people that don't understand them.
Yeah.
In general, is there going to be any proof of that? Probably not,
Right.
because the only way. So you could tell there is a way. The way you well, okay, this is only partially accurate, by the way, and it doesn't take care of the whole thing. But anyway, in Google Analytics 4, you can check by language, by browser language.
Mm.
So if they have, for example, like I don't know, if you're living in the Netherlands, it probably wouldn't have your browser set to English. Probably not. I could be wrong. But you can tell, the amount of people who have their browser set to English or like to Dutch, for example.
But here I have a triple example in one. I have uh a friend in France. Well, he's French, sorry, but he's in Portugal, and he works in the United States, like on our hours, so everything is English. Like even his browser, all that stuff, even though it's not his first language, that's what he works in. So that's how he operates. Have somebody else in like Serbia, and then Ireland, and they, uh, whether they speak English or not, and their stuff is set to English. When I make certain kind of jokes or humor or idiomatic expression, etc., they have no idea what I'm talking about culturally. It's not even close. There's no. So if I'm making an ad that has any kind of personality in it whatsoever, and I'm trying to like serve it, it's not just language. If I could select my targeting and yeah, these people speak English, but also in this area, in this area, in this area, I wonder, like, it just gives Google, even though this was probably already happening, it gives Google the excuse to say, oh well, nobody understood your ads because we served them over in the Netherlands, and you were making a joke that's very localized or whatnot. But then again, I guess my targeting would have to have just been at the locale that I would make said humor at. But I just think English is such a vague thing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why really large marketing teams have like region specific
Mm-hmm.
teams,
Yeah.
because in you can auto translate all that you want, and the auto
Mm-hmm.
translate is pretty good now.
Yeah.
It is, but if you have nuance, if you have like nuance in your ads, that may not translate well, especially like if you're going from English to French, that's a pretty direct translation.
Mm-hmm.
English and French are very closely related. Some of the words are even the same. If you go from English to Polish, there's much less overlap.
Right.
If you go from English to Japanese, there's almost none.
Yeah.
So, you know, someone my translation might just be completely okay in the Netherlands, a straight translation. My straight translation in Japan might not be good.
Right.
It might be weird.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that real quick. It's we had we had done these really successful ads in the United States that were like really cheeky and really like just tongue in cheek and like really kind of funny, and so they really worked and they looked good as well. And then we sent we sent them over to the team had a German team and they also have a German like translator, copy person, whatever. So we sent it over to the German translator person or whatever. Not only did we end up not doing it because the ads didn't work, the translator themselves talked to the CMO to tell me what does what does this stuff what does this even mean? Like why does this matter? Like why is this funny? Like how is this funny? It was so off, like culturally. So yeah, even our translator said that you got to stop before we even started. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah, if you and sometimes like puns and stuff like that do really well. Like
Yeah.
I we're doing database software, and I came up with the so you can't use like the names of
Hmm.
certain like copyrighted software in your ads.
Hmm.
So I came up with some uh like jokes around like this thing called PostgreSQL. So I came up with "Stop living in the past" sequel
That's awesome.
to get around the copyright.
That's great. That's beautiful. That's
It's
great.
like
I like
so
that.
that makes sense in English, and I thought it
Yeah.
was really good, and it did perform well. But it's like, would that have translated
Hmm.
into other
Yeah.
languages?
Right.
Um, like does the I don't know, is it an idiom? I don't know what the figure of speech is, but
Right.
like is like "stop living in the past," is that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some version. It's a pretty universal thing. I'm sure
True.
there's some version of it, but
But
does that
but
like
but it,
make
but
sense
it
in the
doesn't.
context?
But it doesn't. It wouldn't end up uh, clicking into the PostgreSQL like that exact pun of wordplay. It just wouldn't have came up that way in any language really, unless that language had like past or something as the as like its version of the word past. So
Yeah,
I don't know, fascinating
it's an
subject.
interesting thing.
No.
But so next topic, and this is from Search Engine Land as well. Google is testing this thing called enhanced matching for customer match. So this is different. Like the naming on this, I think, is a little confusing because there's this thing called automatic advanced matching, which is one thing, and this is called enhanced matching. Uh, what so there's a difference in what this does. So something like automatic advanced matching, what that does is have your you have a form, for example,
Hmm.
and the user fills out the form and with their information, and then you send that information, you hash it, which means you anonymize the data, and you send that to Google, ideally with a GCL ID. And Google is able to match better that click to that conversion. So it's really good if you're using let's say you're on an iOS device, and you don't have third-party cookies enabled, which in most cases like you're not going to, then your like standard tagging structure is probably not going to work as well. So this allows Google to match back that information. What this does, and this is on a you to Google basis. So you give Google that information.
Oh, I see.
Google says, "Okay, that is this user that we have," and that's all they do with it. This what this does is this sends you. So it basically uses the same general process. So someone makes a conversion or a customer list. Also works for customer lists, and uh, I think it's primarily on customer lists actually for right now. But you submit, your information that you have on a certain person on a customer list, and then Google has that has that information, and then someone else, another advertiser, submits their own customer list, and Google combines that data.
Oh, wow.
So if you're, for example, you have a name and a phone number and you're missing an email,
Mm-hmm.
and someone has an email
Wow.
but no phone number,
Wow.
Google will be able to find that person, is
That's
really
a
what this does.
interesting. That's a slippery step, but that's even though they have all the data anyway. Opening it up like that that's like one step. That's really close to like a lot of data. I guess it's good for everybody because everybody suffers or wins at the same time. But like, doesn't that seem like a pretty dramatic step? Like,
It's a little creepy.
yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah.
Um, they were sort of they were sort of doing this already to a certain degree. Part of the way that Google figures out like what audiences you should be a part of is if like you submit your advertisers submit their customer data,
Mm-hmm.
and it tracks. It's able to track what ads that you would respond to, and so it has that information. This this is basically now the thing is the on the advertiser side you have no control over this. Well, you do technically have control in that you can currently select or unselect the option, but it's
Who
and
would
you can't.
who would unselect from the perspective of the person trying to get matched data? Who would unselect that? How would that benefit you to unselect it? Of course, you would select it. You don't want it to happen to you, but you'll select it because if you're the one getting the data. Like, why would you unselect that? For what
Well, you
reason?
would unselect it because by selecting it you are giving your data to be used by other people.
Fair, but it
That
depends on how valuable whose data is more valuable.
right, well, that's the thing you have to think about. Right, is like, this feature could like and allow you to use better to get better targeting effectively and a
Right.
better match with individual people. But in exchange, you potentially feed your own competitors your data
Hmm.
indirectly.
I like this one. This is a tough one. I mean, it's no there's no choice, but I would depending on there'd be a lot of factors. Now, for me, because the only factors that I would have would be advising a company to do so or not, and I wonder what size, what revenue, what customer level, what security situation, what compliance situation, what privacy situation, the different levels have with their clients and customers and stuff like that. I think that would go into whether I advise or not against it. My question to you is like, what from the perspective of an advisor, because a lot of these people won't know. Like I'm thinking about one company that I convinced to do third. It took me 18 months to convince them to put in all their first party data. 18 months of convincing because of how strict all their policies were. That was a good thing. That was a good thing to do in that case. But what situation would you or would you not? To flip it on you, just would you or would you not advise a client to opt in or opt out? You know?
In most cases, I would probably opt in
Yeah, me too.
to it.
Yeah.
The and keep in mind the way they said that the users have to like consent to this. So you have to have like I guess it's going to be marketing consent is really what this is.
Mm.
Um, you know, if I was in financial services or healthcare, I'd be really hesitant to use this option.
Yeah. But it's all hashed, right?
Well, here's the thing is that does Google do this to a certain degree anyway? Like whether you enable it or not, and they
Mm.
do.
Mm.
If I'm talking to a client and I have to sell them on using this option or not, and their like compliance is a concern, I'm probably going to not even bother. because this, if you're talking to a client that where compliance is really important, this just seems like a total nightmare.
Yeah.
This option, um, even if Google is doing it anyway, it just opens up a lot of doors that that they might not approve of, especially if they haven't released any data on how well it actually works, on like what the improvement is. It's just there, right? So you can't tell. So it's basically like, yeah, if would I probably enable it? Do I think it would actually help? Yes, I think it would. Because having more first party data and like enriching that data, I think is valuable. Do I think that it for a client that is super worried about compliance, do I think it's going to work for them? I wouldn't even try. Probably.
Makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I think that's the way that is the way that attribution and tracking is going,
Hmm.
because it, every time that there's an update, and like iOS and Macs, like Apple is big on this. Every time that they remove an option for like cookies, or they remove an option for tracking, or like they block pixels or block advertisers, or anything like that, there's always like a reaction period
Mm.
where these companies have to figure out, how do we actually maintain the same level of targeting and attribution. And the way, like, this whole thing started with iOS 14, which, if you were like particularly on Meta, this was really bad. It sucked. uh
It's known as the iOS 14
like
update.
the
Like
adpocalypse,
it's like the
I
big
think,
apocalypse. Yeah.
maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare, because everything, if you were heavy on iOS, it literally broke the campaigns for at minimum a couple of weeks. I had some smaller clients that I had to transition off of Meta to Google Ads, because we couldn't get it to we didn't have enough it basically we didn't have enough money to make it work on Meta anymore. You needed more money because you had less data.
Mm.
Um so their reaction to that was to, like, one, do the uh what is it called, like the projections, where they are just estimating how many conversions you got. And the other thing is the server side conversion tracking, and the automatic advanced matching conversions, with customer data. So Google, finding another way to provide some insurance for themselves
Hmm.
by giving advertisers another option. It really is another option to get more data, because you put in data, you get some data back. I mean, not that you can use directly, but that your account will use to match people. So that's, I think, as a general trend, that's the way things are going, and has been going for a while.
Optionality is never a bad thing in that situation. So
Yeah,
I think it's a net positive. As weird as it is, it's a net positive. It's just a lot of. It's just admitting to a lot of things that we already knew were happening is what's happening. Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. So next topic, and this is from Search Engine Land as well, is Google Analytics, so GA4, adds custom conversion attribution windows. So previously, GA4 only supported uh, set conversion windows. So by set, I mean you could set uh, the engaged view conversion. You only had a 3-day view window, and that was there was no option. It was just 3-day view. For click through, you had the option of 1, 7, 14, 30, 60, or 90 days. You had those options that you could select from.
Hmm.
Now you can set like a dynamic value. So you can go for engaged view, you can set anywhere from 1 to 30 days for engaged view,
Mm.
which is really nice if you're if you really want to have view through conversions, because 30 days is a lot more than you're going to get in most places. And then for click through, you can set any day between any number of days between 1 and 90.
So 77.
Sure. You
Okay.
can set 77.
All right.
So yeah, it's talking a lot about view through conversions on this
Yeah.
episode.
It's in
But
the
yeah, I
zeitgeist.
think this is okay.
No, I said it's in the zeitgeist right now. View through
Yeah,
conversions. Yeah.
I think it's a good overall a good update. It just makes it easier for if you have a specific reason where
Hmm.
you need to set a custom conversion window, you can do it, which is great.
Yeah, you might have a
Um,
different sales cycle, an internal metric of when people view through and actually convert. That's just unique to you, and maybe you need to set like a 49-day one, and it can't be 60, and it can't be 30. Now you have like the option in there. Yeah.
yeah, it's just more flexibility, and
Hmm.
more flexibility is always good. So the next topic, and this is from Search Engine Land as well, is so Meta AI can now analyze and optimize your Meta ads campaigns. So we talked about something similar on Google,
Hmm.
and that was like last week where we discussed that.
Yeah.
But we can take a look here. It's weird on Riverside. You have to set this every time. But basically, this is what it will look like. This is in this case, they said review my ad performance in the last 90 days, what's working, what's not, and it gives you a report.
Oh, I see. I see.
So it'll tell you what's working, and you can have it analyze creatives, and then turn
So
it into a deck. Go ahead. What were you saying?
no, it's essentially just doing what I just spoke about this 2 mornings ago. It's just doing what uh, all software is going to be doing. All software is going to have an LLM interface, and really all it is Meta's own AI tool, analysis tool, and then you're just able to speak to it through an LLM. And I'm surprised it's not called something yet, like an actual name, because usually it's called something like it'll be Meta's like Johnny or whatever, and you talk to Johnny, and then Johnny tells you how your campaigns are doing and what to work on, etc. This is a good innovation, but it's not innovative at all. Like they're behind the power curve on this one. Maybe not. Maybe in marketing they're ahead, but this
It's
is
called
already happening.
Zuckbot or something.
Yeah, this is happening everywhere right now. Uh, I just learned about tax software, or it's not Intuit, it's other software. Very expensive right now. Like most accountants can't afford it that are like small practices, but this software where again you put return in and it's a complicated return. You literally talk to it. Hey, this is so it's all LLMs, but really tailored to a specific use case, not general knowledge. So.
Yep.
This is gonna go very well. I think it's gonna go very well for people who are in house. For marketers, this is gonna cause a lot of problems. If the client has some knowledge, the marketers are gonna be in a very bad position. Oftentimes in my career, what has happened to me is, uh, usually it's through an actual person, but Google would have a lot of overviews uh, and quote unquote strategy, etc. And it's all garbage and it's not correct. And then I have to train my client on no, listen to me. And then the client says no, we'll do what Google does, and then it fails. And then the client doesn't blame Google; they blame you for letting them do it. You know what I mean? Do you understand the cycle I'm
Yep.
talking
I
about?
know what you mean.
Okay, so what are
And
your thoughts on that?
no, and you're 100% right, because even in this answer, it says common success factors. By the way, you're using everything that's working for you is using Advantage Plus audiences.
Right.
So they're just going to use this to push
Yes.
to instead of it's not a neutral analysis. It is
No.
an analysis that is specifically dedicated to get you to use more of their automated features and to give up control.
And what I said about people who have just a little bit of knowledge, they're the most dangerous because if they're smart enough, not smart, that's the wrong word, if they're capable enough to use this voice feature or use this feature, then, but they're not capable to manage an account, what ends up happening is whatever the AI spits out, then they ask you, and then they're gonna say no, but the AI said this. And believe me, even more than trusting Google or trusting a Meta, representative when they used to exist, um, they people, especially who are just getting new, introduced to AI, they're gonna trust the AI way more than like 1,000 times more than you. They're gonna trust what the AI is saying. They're not gonna believe that there'd be subversion, and an insidious way for you to see new products, etc. Because the average person, whenever I explain this to them about marketing and these platforms, some of them so naively say like, "But they wouldn't do that." Okay. That's been my experience. This just sounds like that on steroids because it's hard enough to tell somebody don't listen to the rep, don't listen to the rep. Imagine an actual AI overview. Holy moly, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, they open the campaign and say, I get they open the account and they see they're looking at yesterday's performance because they're that kind of they're the kind of
Yeah.
person who looks at one day of data and then
Yes.
panics, and
Yep.
then they ask Meta AI, why did my ad perform poorly yesterday? And it's like, your agency sucks.
Straight up. Pretty much. That's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be like use AI special, Facebook Max with like one day. It's not gonna be like, hey. Hopefully, the answer is, hey, there's only one day of data. Hold like slow your roll. It's not gonna say that.
It's not going to do that.
There's no way it's
That
gonna
would
do
be
that.
that would be that would be too rational. It's going to be
Right.
like, well, this is your fault for not using all of our automated features. Do you, and then ask, do you want us to turn it on? And then it'll be a button that says yes, and then it nukes
Yeah.
the account.
Totally. Oh man, good times are coming.
That'll be fun. Uh, yeah, the future is super bright as always. Uh, but yeah, next topic, and this is from Search Engine Land as well. Microsoft Advertising rolls out AI Max globally for search campaigns.
This is news to me, but not news. Like not surprising. I'm surprised it took this long. I thought they were pretty much right behind Google especially with Google's help. I thought they were just right behind Google with this stuff. So it took long enough. Is my
Well,
opinion.
the thing about this is that it isn't even ads in AI overviews.
Oh,
What this is actually is, it's some of the feature. So Google just turned like campaign level broad match and like automatically created assets. They basically said those are in part of AI Max now.
right.
Well, Microsoft's AI Max enables those features.
Oh, I see.
So basically, what this is, it's not even AI overview stuff. It's just like it's search term matching, which is it looks at your landing page for keywords.
Hmm.
Text customization uses your landing page to come up with text options, and then final URL expansion. So it
That's
expands your landing pages.
that's basic. That's like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Not
So
six.
this
Maybe
is
4 months ago. I'll say.
so it's like dynamic. What this is effectively, as of right now, is it's like a dynamic search ad on Google, which is features that are going away. So it's like, I mean, Microsoft, they even call, and Google lets them do this because in order to be not labeled a monopoly,
Hmm.
which they are, Google helps Microsoft develop their own search product.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
And so they also let Microsoft choose their own, like use their same naming convention. So like there's a Microsoft
Mhm.
Performance Max,
Yeah, yeah.
and that
Hmm.
is like a Microsoft AI Max, which is the
Hmm.
same thing. Well, it's not even the same thing. It doesn't even have the same features. It's really a dynamic search ad. But it's this like this type of stuff scares me on Microsoft because it's like if it if it couldn't figure out like automated bidding or like basic match
Mhm.
types in a lot of ways, I'm just scared to see what it's going to pick up on my landing page. It
That's
could
funny.
work. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a spooky platform. It really is.
Microsoft, actually, it's funny you say spooky platform. Whenever, whenever I'm in the interface, I always think I'm gonna break it. I'm always scared to touch buttons on the Microsoft interface. I don't know why. It's just for something about it, like something about when I'm in it. I'm like, oh dear. It just doesn't. It's like this imitation version of Google that just seems like jankier. I don't know. And Microsoft's such a powerful company. Like when I'm on their other products, Excel or Word or whatever, like I feel concrete. Like this is like like bulletproof no matter what. And as soon as I open Microsoft advertising, even the font they use, everything. I don't know. It's just funny.
One of my first, like stories of like when I was using Microsoft Ads is, and this was me trying it for the first time. And I built all these campaigns specifically for Microsoft with, all of these added restrictions and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, we were spending like a little bit of budget. I was like, this is going to work out. It'll be fine. It's kind of like Google, right? And then like 2 weeks in, I get an email, and this is in all caps, like Bing is dog crap in all caps. And he just sent me a list of all of the leads from Microsoft Ads, and they were trash. It's like, oh my god. And then we stopped using it.
That's funny. Apparently,
You
it's
really
making
have to.
a comeback. It's like doing a Renaissance tour at the moment.
It is. Well, the thing is, a lot of, if you have, it's kind of like to set, if you're using Performance Max on Google, right, or using display on Google, and you have a conversion that can't be faked, you
Right.
could do the
Yep.
same thing on Microsoft. So only have it
Hmm.
optimized to conversions that can't be faked, and then you'll probably be okay. That's the thing, right?
That makes sense.
So if uh if you're optimizing towards simple leads and anything that's bot heavy, like Microsoft Ads, especially like the partner network, it's going to be a problem. But if you heavily restrict what counts as a conversion, and you have to keep a closer eye on Microsoft, you just do. But if you do, you can make it work. But you have to be willing to you have to be willing and able to track those more valuable conversions, and also to sort through, have an automated system to sort through the crap.
Right.
You just need to.
I have a
Then you
question.
can get it to work. Yeah.
This is gonna be off topic. It just popped in my head just now. How many people like how often do you think it is where is it more likely that somebody is never in market for stuff, but they keep getting ads for stuff, and all of a sudden they're in market and they recall the ad, or like meaning how often do you think it is when somebody's just fully in market and an ad hits them and then they start the whole lead process, etc., versus people who are just tire kickers and kind of just seeing what's going on for the future versus like if I'm actively looking like right now, if all of a sudden I get assigned, I work for a company and I get assigned, hey, you need to find I don't know, a CRM for 2027 and you have a month to do so. Aren't I now searching? Now I'm going to start searching for all that. And the smart people that maybe retarget my searches are who get me advertising wise, but like was I don't think people would know to be sending me those unless my title gave it away to be sending me ads ahead of time to get in my subconscious, let's say, for example. So like what's more likely to be the strategy to hit people? Like right now is that time. I think we're ending summer. So this is where we're going into the procurement for 2027 season. This is when advertising should be heaviest right now, but how does one like who does one advertise to? The people who already know what they're looking for and retarget those people, or trying to net new get into somebody's head who may potentially one day be somebody procuring. You see what I'm saying from a advertiser's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I think it comes down largely to how much budget you have,
Mm,
like, in a lot of ways, and how long the sales cycle is. Because if you have a small budget, you're probably only going to go after the people who are already in market,
right. Okay.
if you can, because you want to be able to prove and get results out of that small budget quickly. So if you only have $10,000, you have to really target what you know 100% is going to work right now.
Got it.
If you have $100,000 or $500,000, once you start getting up at those higher budget levels, then you can target people who may generally be within the the target, but are not necessarily buying right now.
I see.
So you target, and we do this on LinkedIn, right? It's really easy to do on LinkedIn. You target people who are of a certain job seniority and have like a certain job function. So you don't know if they're. I mean, you can add buyer groups now,
Yeah.
but it's something where you're targeting someone who might have a use for your product at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can also do like tangential uh, kind of marketing like that where you have like an overarching goal, which, for example, running for software as a service, and there's a free version. Uh, your overarching goal might be to generate, recurring revenue from the paid version of the software.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you have the budget for it, running campaigns to get free trials or running campaigns to use the free version of the software is an investment into long term reaching that goal of them acquiring the paid version of the software. So because you had that extra budget, you were able to go after people who might eventually, a year or two down the line, might want to use the software. Or like you get them used to it. If they
Mm.
use it, they like it, and then eventually, they have a need for the paid version, and then they want the paid version.
The street pharmacist approach.
Yeah, it's kind of what free trials are
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Fair.
But it does work. It does work, but especially if you're in an agency and you have like pretty strict uh, requirements,
Mhm.
it can be hard to justify uh, having running campaigns that you don't know if they will be effective for a little while.
Right. Yeah, I just find it interesting how even we talked about this last time as well, but from an agency perspective, um, this is gonna sound bad, and I don't want to make even us look sound bad, but like you have to do what the most right thing is for the client, but at the same time, you also have to make sure that most right thing is falls in the parameters of you can prove it. you know, because if it's outside of that, if it's outside of being provable, but it's still the best thing for the customer, let them figure it out. You actually can't do it because you can't prove it, even if there's a direct correlation that happens. You can't actually prove it, so you're better off staying within like coloring within the circles. I don't know.
Yeah, or just in like hey, I think this makes a lot of sense for
Hmm.
you to do.
Hmm.
Um, well, like with smaller clients, if you were running, here's the thing: if you were running, uh, you have a shoestring budget, it might make sense to run brand on Google and run remarketing on Meta, and that's what you use. But if you're at most agencies, and ours included, charge by channel. So you have to be like, hey, you might want to do this, and it might actually make the most sense for your business. But from our perspective, that adds an extra $1,500. So does it uh, does it work? Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. The bigger you get, the less of an issue that becomes.
Yeah. So
But
get bigger, people. What's wrong with you? Work
yeah,
harder.
Uh, but yeah, um, and we're already at the last topic.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is from Search Engine Land as well.
Wow, we've been going on a lot of detours too. I thought there was a lot of topics today, actually.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, they're actually a pretty good number of them.
Interesting. Cool.
But I've been getting through them. But Microsoft advertising is that's two Microsoft ads
Oh wow,
topics for
they're moving
today.
on up, and
Rare.
I'm telling you, the Renaissance. Two stories. Two stories.
Two stories in
Wow,
1 week.
that's impressive.
But in this case, they removed the max CPC from new standalone bidding campaigns.
Really, Microsoft. So wait,
They just
if Mac CPC is gone, that means that's the last stand, though. They've gotten rid of CPC before Google.
well, so manual CPC isn't gone.
Oh,
What
Max.
what you could set so for for certain bidding strategies,
Mhm.
like for example, for maximize conversion value, and maximize clicks, you used to be able to set a separate max CPC.
Oh right. Oh wait.
Uh,
They got Google got rid of that. What,
oh, that
two,
was a
3 years ago? Right? 5 years ago?
uh, technically on portfolio level bid strategies, you can use those,
Hmm.
but only on portfolio level strategies.
Gotcha.
And Microsoft is kind of doing the same thing here. So on October 1st, basically you can't create a new campaign that has a max CPC. So you have to realistically, you either have to move everything to manual
Or do a
if you
shared
want to
budget
really
or a
control your
portfolio,
bids,
like you said.
or use portfolio bid strategies, which as of right now are unaffected, or you set a campaign target and hope that it can reach that campaign target.
Mhm.
So the idea, I guess, that they have behind making this change is that uh, they wanted to make the targets the primary lever instead of just using the CPC. It's
Hmm.
like, okay,
Inconsequential, but interesting.
yeah. I mean, and the discussion topic is, do you think this pushes more people towards manual CPC if they can't control the max bids?
I don't like it pushes most people if they can't control the max bids, it pushes more people to Google. I mean, if this was Google, I would say yes. Microsoft, I don't know how we already talked about how on how it's so inefficient to use max CPC for the most part. I mean, sorry, manual CPC for the most part on Google. I can't imagine it would be any better on Microsoft manual
Well,
CPC.
it is better because the automated bidding sucks.
Well, fair, I mean, better than Google. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This all sounds disaster. Like this would get me off the platform. If I cared, if that's something I cared about, then I would just go to a different platform. Unless I was crushing conversions due to the demographic on Microsoft ads. If that was the case, then yes, I guess the answer is I would go to more. It would push people who care about those metrics to go more to manual bidding. I think it would just push people off the platform and look for other ways, like whether it's Meta or Google.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people like are still using like that max CPC control.
Right.
Probably a good number of people, I would imagine. But
We're talking about of those people though, right?
yeah, like other people who are using Microsoft ads, like how many of them have that max are using that max CPC control?
Right. But and of those people, we're asking if that control was to go away, how many of them would move to manual bidding or just stop altogether?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's
It's not significant. I mean, we're talking. I bet right now we can, like, I mean, it'd be hard to find. It'd be hard to find these people. Like they exist, but it'd be very difficult to
yeah.
locate them.
I feel like Microsoft is either you you very tightly control everything,
Hmm.
or you say, hey, we have 2000 a month from Microsoft, just put everything in there, copy it over from Google,
Yeah,
and let it do whatever it wants.
right. A lot of people do that second approach that I've seen so far. Actually, every Microsoft person has pretty much done that I've seen, as far as like the client.
Yeah, because they're like, whatever. It's like just to establish a presence and then
Hmm.
nothing else.
Yeah, there were a couple campaigns that have recently started converting, and they were actually solid, legitimate conversions. That was just interesting because it was doing better than Google in that circumstance, but it was really niche, really specific, and the crowd, the audience was probably a lot more tailored to the age and stuff of Microsoft. So yeah,
That's it for this week.
that's it. What about any company announcements or anything? Anything cool happening?
Nothing really major. I'm working on an organic, like, social video,
Hmm.
which should hopefully be out next week, just going over the the experience that I've had on, all of these different organic social channels to see, like, what I've had success with and what I've kind of struggled with.
Right.
So hopefully that will be interesting. But other than that, not a whole lot going on.
All right. Well, from my end, I want to say to everybody to check all your local and national publications. We had a story in there this week, um, or just Google paid perceptions, and you'll see a bunch of stories pop up. And yeah, it just talks all about the company and what we have going on. And then, of course, keep watching episodes of this. And it was fun as usual, Sam.